Hello and welcome to my Tahr grind guide video. I'll be showing you guys my actual grind setup and some of the trophies I've gotten along the way. Start with this guy right here. This is the great one that we finally got. It took us 2,087 kills, 20 diamonds. We had 21 trolls and 16 rares along the way. Oh, let's go, dude! Yeah! Woo! We got him, dude! Woo! Yeah! Is he down? Is he down? Yeah, baby! Woo! Oh my god. My heart rate, dude. My heart rate. These things seem to troll quite a bit. As far as the diamonds go, 20 is a lot for 2,000 kills. We're getting one and about 100, but they troll as often as they actually make diamond. I do know that some other people were having quite a bit better luck as far as getting diamonds and things like that, but for me personally, it's been about a 50-50 split on those. They are some cool looking diamonds when you do get them though. Their straw variant looks really good. I do like this one quite a bit. I kind of wish that this was maybe one of the rares, and honestly the red or dark red, I kind of wish that that maybe would have been the uncommon. You really can't tell with those too much as you're shooting them, but a few of my favorite rares for the Tahr are the albino, obviously. The dark brown looks very cool as well. And then my favorite by far is actually the black back there. But here we have a super troll that we got along the grind. This was a level 5 white Tahr, and its top estimate was actually 99. Oh my dude. Woo! Yeah, baby! Oh my god. Hi. Hello. Yoink! Didn't make it, but he still got a lot of character in the horns, and overall it was still really nice to see it in the grind, especially being the first grind, right? So but we'll get over here. We'll take a look at the black Tahr. This is by far my favorite rare for them so far. It's either between this or probably the albino. But we do have other rares. I got a couple back here on the top plaques over there, but I have them basically lining the walls right now. And still more to come. I'm definitely going to do more of this. It has been a little bit of a painful grind for me. The zones, they tend to not show up very often, and when they do, it's really nice. I mean, you can get some good kills and things like that, but overall, I think getting to their need zones on time is probably like one of the main frustrating things about it. But we will go over basically how to find your zones, where you should be looking, and we'll also hop around the map and show you some of the hotspots where I think that it's best to find them. So hopefully you guys will have some zones in the same places I do, because some of them are really, really good. They do like to eat in thick wooded areas sometimes. So let's go ahead and hop onto the map and we will go over the different locations where I've found to be most successful with Tahr. Alright, so here we are on the map. I'll take a quick look at my overall. This is the current places where I do have my tent set down right now and where my current grind is. I do have a couple of locations on here where I have left a tripod. This is areas where I have shot down the zones already to level 2 and under, and I decided to pick up the tent and just move those along to other zones to shoot those down as well. I'm doing herd management, but I'm not doing it with stacking, okay? I've been shooting the diamonds as they show up. I'm just focusing on shooting level 3 and up, except in main zones that I've chose overall to carry through the rest of the grind. Like my final grind will be on some of these zones that are really, really good to shoot. They're ones that tend to be more consistent and also nice and open to shoot, right? So one little thing after spending quite a bit of time on the map, They do spawn up in these areas here. However, the very far top right corner up here, I have not seen any tahr in this area at all. So this kind of like top chunk of the map around this lake here, I haven't seen any tahr zones here. However, just outside of that, there are tahr zones all along here, especially in these white patchy areas and stuff like that. I found quite a few. But overall, in the area where tahr can actually have feed zones, I've noticed that they tend to feed in these brown areas all over. So these are definitely the areas where you want to look for them as you're setting up for your grind or just finding zones. Their feed times are 4 to 7, 7 to 11, 14 to 17, and 17 to 20. My chosen time is 17 to 20 to hunt these. And the reason that is because I've noticed after checking through quite a few of the different feed times, they tended to have this particular time for me to line up zones where I could just hop between them, and they were in pretty good places for me to actually hunt. Your actual best feed time might be a different one. It just kind of depends again on where you're finding your zones and how they are in these different areas. So I suggest going through several and just seeing what works best for you. As far as finding the actual zones themselves, it shouldn't be an issue with setting your time to one of these times. I usually pick about 15 to 30 minutes after the start of the feed time, and then I'll just start running in an area where they can possibly eat. If you spot them in a zone, say at a distance, and you pick up a zone that way, it's fine. But if you happen to get into like a more dense area where you scare them out, that's fine as well. Just cruise in right behind them and pick up the zone and move on to the next. A couple of key areas that I like to focus on are this particular mountainside here. I have my tents and tripods along this ridge line here. There's nothing that spawns to the left of it as far as like any feed zones. I haven't seen any feeding down here at all. In fact, this is kind of like the line that comes down and then cuts across over this way. So on this particular line here, everything will be down to the side of you here. So as you're coming down this ridge line here, you'll just look off and see what you can see as far as tahr coming in. These ones also tend to come in a little bit later for me. I'm not sure why, but just in this particular feed zone, they're not usually here right at the start. So what I do is I work my way down this ridge, obviously glassing the side of the hill here. And if you pick up zones and you have a decent cluster here, this might be a good time for you as well. Now, a really good place that I have found that holds quite a few tahr. In fact, it's really, really good. I have actually 4 zones down in this one particular area here. You can see just to the right of this outpost, I have a tent here where I fast travel to this one, and it's really, really wide open. Tent placement is just at the top of the hill here, and you come right into the stand. As you can see, this field is very wide open, so when they are feeding out here, it makes it much easier to spot them and pick out the targets that you want to shoot. And it comes quite a ways down. Now you can have multiple zones here, so you can have them up here, down in the back, and then also off to the right and the left side. So definitely take a look here and see if you have them feeding here during any time. If you do, most likely it's going to be a time that you're going to want to choose to hunt them here, because again, it is wide open and you can clearly see the tahr as they're feeding, and you don't got to worry so much about them being into the woods. Another really good spot that I found is actually down here in the middle. Again, it's by an outpost. I'll show you right here on the map exactly, but you come to this outpost over here and it actually overlooks an area where if you have tahr here, you're definitely going to want to hunt this area. Now, I started out initially with a tent on this bottom side here, and I would hunt these zones here, but these zones kind of broke down and stopped producing. So I ended up finding from this outpost here, you can spawn at the outpost and come on over to this side of the fence here. And I placed a tree stand up in this tree. And what that does for me is it allows me to overlook the field that they're actually going to be feeding in just over here. As you can see, you have good visibility. The only thing you run into an issue with sometimes is they will be feeding down in the trees. So definitely scan the trees and see if you can get a spotting outline maybe. And that's on both sides here. You want to definitely take a look and see if you get any little blips of an animal feeding there. But again, sometimes they come in late, so you have to just be patient. I would say the number one thing about this grind is just patience. A lot of times they're coming in late to their feed zones, and you know, we just have to do that. There is no caller for them, so the best we can do is just keep hopping around to our setups and hopefully get them in there so we can get some good shots on them. If you guys think that there should be a caller for them, definitely let me know in the comments. I'd like to get as much feedback about that as possible. I think that overall it would make this hunt a lot more enjoyable. Now, there are other really good places on this map as well. Down here by this lookout point, there is a nice wide open area down here where I did have a couple of good zones, but they ended up shooting down pretty quickly, and I decided to leave them and look for other zones as well. Up here in this white kind of dirt patchy area right here, I do have a tent here now, but I did start initially with just a tripod here, and I had a tripod also out here to the side. And what I would do is I would fast travel to this outpost, and I would just walk these areas, checking for zones, any new zones that popped up or anything like that. But also I would just shoot from the tripods at zones that were within visual range of those tripods. The last part of this I would say is definitely don't sleep on these little creases right here. I do have like one of my best zones down here as well. And I did have other ones down here that I hunted with these, but once they shot down, I actually just pulled the tents and am still looking to shoot down some more zones on the map. One thing I say about this is patience is key. You honestly don't even realize it so much until you get into this actual Tahr grind. But the animals coming into their zones is really hit or miss. Sometimes they're there straight when you come out of the tent, and sometimes it takes them 20, 30, 40 in-game minutes to filter into their zones. So generally, if they're not there, I'll just hop to the next tent and see what I have there to shoot, and I'll so on and so forth. I'll just continue that process until I have more to shoot. And also another thing about them is the zones tend to break down a bit. So what I've noticed so far is that if you are shooting only male zones, they tend to be more consistent than if you have male and female zones in there. Sometimes you will get bouncers and things like that that actually bounce out of these zones, and a lot of these areas where I've actually left my tripods and things are zones that I'll go back to and check, because for one reason or another, the male has actually relocated out of that zone. There'll be females only left. And then later on, you know, several rotations, hundreds of kills later even, I'll go back and there'll be a new male in that zone. So bouncing is definitely an issue that we have to kind of just deal with. I don't see any changes coming for that. It could be working as intended, you know, and so we'll just leave it at that and do the best we can, you know. As you keep shooting more and more, just move your tents as you need to and shoot more Tahr. All right, that pretty much wraps up this guide. Now, I know I didn't add too much stuff in here, but I just kind of want to get some information out there to everyone so you can get your grind started and feel a little more confident in finding your zones and what you should and shouldn't be shooting. So if you would like more tips and things like that, definitely feel free to give me a follow on Twitch. And also you can join the Discord. The links will be in the description of this video. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I look forward to making some more content for you guys. All right. Thanks for watching.